Hi, let's today see full wave rectifier. In the last class, we had looked at the half wave rectifier, and in the half wave rectifier, we saw the current flows only during the positive half cycles of the input AC voltage. The negative half cycles are removed in the output. So we get the output only during the positive half cycle of the input AC. So the efficiency of a half wave rectifier is less. So we need a rectifier where the current flows or we get the output during both negative and positive half cycle of the input AC. For that, we use a full wave rectifier. So in full wave rectification, current flows through the load in the same direction for both half cycles of the input AC voltage. Okay, so we get DC direct current for both half cycles of the input AC voltage. The following two circuits are commonly used: center tap full wave rectifier and full wave bridge rectifier. Okay, so these two full wave rectifiers are used. Let's see the center tapped full wave rectifier first. See the circuit. We have the input AC voltage, AC supply, which is given to the rectifier circuit through a step down transformer. A and B, these are the secondary outputs, secondary of the transformer. We have two diodes D1 and D2 connected in the circuit with the load RL, across which we get the output of the rectifier. So this is the circuit. We have transformer and two diodes and a load RL connected in this fashion to the center tap. This is the center tap of the transformer. It is where we get the middle, the center of the secondary of the transformer. So the voltage appearing between A and the center tap and the voltage appearing between the center tap and the point B will be equal in magnitude. Okay, so this is the circuit, and here we see the output V out D1. In the first half cycle, we have written D1 because during that half cycle D1 conducts, and the second output is due to D2, then the third one D1, fourth one D2, and goes on like that. Right? So how it is operating, how the circuit is working. During the positive half cycle, the end of A of the secondary becomes positive, the end A becomes positive, and end B becomes negative. So the conventional current will be trying to flow in this direction from A to B. So the diode D1 is in the direction of the conventional current, or its arrow head is in the direction of the conventional current. So D1 is forward biased, but D2, the arrowhead is in the opposite direction of the conventional current. So D2 is reverse biased. So D1 conducts, D2 does not conduct. So the current will be flowing from A through D1 through load RL into the center tap. So this is how the circuit is working. So the current is flowing from right to left through the load RL. In negative half cycle, end B becomes positive and A becomes negative. So the conventional current will be flowing from B to A in this fashion. So D2 will be conducting. D2 is conducting because the current is in the same direction as that of D2. But D1, the direction wherever it is in the opposite direction. So D1 is not conducting. The D1 will be reverse biased. The current will be flowing from B through D2 through load RL into the center tap. So during both half cycles, the negative and positive half cycle, we get current through the load RL in the same direction. Okay, so we say the current flows through the load RL in the same direction for both half cycles of the input AC voltage. So we are getting DC, okay, again a pulsating DC, but this one is better than the half wave rectifier output, because in half wave rectifier, a part is not there, but here during both halves we are getting the output. Okay, so this is how the circuit is operating. During positive half cycle, this is what is happening. During negative half cycle, this is what is happening. Okay, and we get the current during both half cycles. Peak inverse voltage. So what is the peak inverse voltage of the diode? Peak inverse voltage is the maximum voltage that appears across the diode when it is reverse biased. We know when the end A is positive, and this end is positive and this end is negative, diode D1 is conducting but D2 is reverse biased. Okay, so we can during that situation D2 is reverse biased, and we want to know how much or what is the maximum voltage that is appearing across D2. So when D1 is conducting, we can assume this as a short, okay, because it is conducting is a short. So this voltage will appear here, and this end, this voltage, this negative here. So the voltage across D2 will be 2 Vm. Okay, Vm plus Vm, 2 Vm. That will be the voltage across the diode. So D2 will be experiencing 2 Vm voltage, the peak inverse voltage across it. And during negative half cycle, D1 will be experiencing the same voltage, 2 Vm across it, when it is reverse biased. So we see 2 Vm is the voltage, peak inverse voltage of the diode. Now we look at the disadvantages, because we are in the next step going to the bridge full wave rectifier. So we will see what are the disadvantages of the center tapped full wave rectifier. First one, it's difficult to locate the center tap on the secondary winding, because we need the middle, the center portion of the secondary, so it's difficult to locate it. So that is one drawback of this. Then the DC output is small, because each diode utilizes only 1/2 of the transformer secondary voltage. Okay, 1/2 of the transformer secondary voltage. Then the diode used must have high peak inverse voltage, because we see it is 2 Vm, the PIV is 2 Vm. Because if the diode is not able to withstand this high peak inverse voltage, it may get damaged. So diode used must have high peak inverse voltage. Okay, it must have high peak inverse voltage. So these are the drawbacks of the center tapped full wave rectifier. So we go for the next type, the bridge, full wave bridge rectifier. We see the circuit of the full wave bridge rectifier. See here there is no need of center tap transformer. See, we are not using center tap transformer. Ordinary transformer is used here. So it's one advantage of this. Then we use 4 diodes. See, D1, D3, D2, D4. Okay, D1, D3, D2, D4. D1, we see the output is taken across this load RL here. Here we are taking the output, and we can see the V in the secondary voltage, okay, across the transformer, and V out. See, we are getting the output during the positive and negative the input, the secondary voltage of the transformer. For both half cycles, we are getting the output. Now let's see how this is working. During positive half cycle, this end become P will become positive and Q will become negative. Okay. So as the NP becomes positive, the conventional current will be flowing from P to Q. Okay, P to Q, trying to flow from P to Q. So this diode is in this direction of the conventional current. So this will be forward biased. This also will be forward biased because see, Q is negative here, and here we have ground. Okay, so this diode, this will be forward biased. So D1 and D3 are forward biased. So current will be flowing from P through D1 into the ground here, and here the current will be flowing from ground through D3 to the end Q. Okay, so the current will be flowing like this, from P through D1 into ground, from ground through load RL, through B through D3 into Q. So in this fashion the current will be flowing during the positive half cycle. So that is shown here during positive half cycle of the secondary voltage, and P becomes positive and Q becomes negative. D1 and D3 will be forward biased. So D1 and D3 will be conducting, but D2 and D4 will be reverse biased. Okay, D2 and D4 will be reverse biased because we see here we have positive, but here since this end is negative, this will be reverse biased. The same thing happens here because we are connecting negative and Q to this, so this will be reverse biased. So D2 and D4 will be reverse biased. Okay, so this is what is happening, and the figure shows, the circuit shows how the current is flowing from positive through the diode D1 through A into the earth to the ground, and from ground through B through the diode D3 through to the negative terminal. So this is how the current is flowing. Then during the negative half cycle, we know the end P becomes negative and end Q becomes positive, and this will be the direction of the current flow. D2 and D4 are now forward biased. D2 and D4 conduct, but D1 and D3 are reverse biased. Okay, now D2 and D4 are forward biased and they conduct current. And current flows from A to B. A to B in this fashion. Okay, so through the load RL, the current is flowing from ground to the point B during positive and negative half cycle. See here how the current is flowing from ground to the top, and here how the current is flowing from the ground to the top. Okay, so this is how the current is flowing from A to B through the load RL. Now the current is flowing in the same direction during negative and positive half cycle. Now what will be the peak inverse voltage of each diode? We will see, suppose that the situation is the NDP is positive and Q is negative, D1 and D3 are conducting, so they can be replaced by short here. See, so this positive voltage here appears here, this negative voltage appears here, and both D2 and D4, now reverse biased, experiences the peak inverse voltage of Vm, the maximum voltage across the secondary. So Vm is the peak inverse voltage of the diode. Now Vm is the peak inverse voltage. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of this bridge rectifier? Advantages. It has several advantages. The first one is the need for center tapped transformer is eliminated. We don't need center tapped transformer here. So we can reduce the cost. The output is, second one, the output is twice that of the center tapped circuit for the same secondary voltage. Output is twice because in the center tapped rectifier, we saw each diode is using only half of the secondary voltage. But here the diodes are using full secondary voltage. So the output is twice that of the center tap circuit for the same secondary voltage. And here the peak inverse voltage is 1/2 that of the center tap circuit for the same DC output. For the same DC output, okay, for the same output, here PIV is just VM, but there it was 2 VM. Okay, for the same, that we have not, for the same DC output. Okay, now disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? The the bridge rectifier requires 4 diodes. It requires 4 diodes. Okay, but there the center tap requires 2 diodes. But you know, the diodes are not that costly. They are very cheap. So this disadvantage can be, you know, that can be neglected. Then the second one, in each half cycle input, AC input, 2 diodes in series conduct. Here 2 diodes conduct. D1, D3 or D2, D4 are conducting. So the voltage drop in the internal resistance of the rectifying unit, that will be twice as great as the center tap. Okay, because 2 diodes are conducting, so 2 diodes will be having the internal resistance. There will be drop across the internal resistance of the 2 diodes. But in center tap, there is only 1 diode conducting at a time. So the drop will be less. Here it will be twice as great as the center taps. These are the disadvantages. Now we are going for the efficiency. We are calculating the efficiency of the full wave rectifier. We have done this in the half wave rectifier. Let assume that vehicle VM sin theta is the AC voltage to be rectified. RF is the diode resistance. Okay, RL is the load resistance. Then the current is given by V by RF plus RL. V is VM sin theta by RF plus RL. So this is the current. Instantaneous current is given by VM sin theta by RF plus RL. RF is the diode resistance. RL is the load resistance. And the DC power output here is given by IDC. That is given by 2Im by pi. There in the half-wave rectifier, there we had calculated this average DC current by integrating, 1 by 2 pi integral 0 to pi. By integrating that, we had obtained this. But there we had current only in the half of the cycle, half cycle. So here we have current in the both half cycles. So IDC, that is given by 2Im by pi. There it was Im by pi, now it is 2Im by pi. Okay, so the DC power output PDC, which is now equal to IDC square into RL, where IDC is now equal to 2Im by pi whole square. Okay, IDC square means 2Im by pi whole square into RL. So this is the DC power output. So here the difference is IDC is 2Im by pi. There in half-wave rectifier it is Im by pi. Now the AC power output, the AC input power, which is PAC, that is IRMS square into RF plus RL. IRMS is now Im by root 2. Okay, IRMS is Im by root 2. So this PAC is Im by root 2 square RF plus RL. Okay, so this is the AC input power. So eta is equal to PDC by PAC. We just divide the PDC by PAC. So we get this. Okay, and we get the expression here 0.812 RL by RF plus RL. We divide both numerator and denominator by RL. So we get this. The maximum efficiency is now 81.2%. Maximum efficiency is obtained for RF much less than RL, that we know. And what we see is the efficiency now we are getting is double the efficiency that we get for the half-wave rectifier. Okay, it is double it. So this is double the efficiency due to half wave rectifier.